Well, friends, so we are taking up today fire insurance. Fire insurance and the main policies are commercial policies, because fire insurance also includes the policies related to the dwellings and residential houses. So we will exclusively take up today commercial insurance policies. I'm sure the presentation is visible to all of you. Anybody can confirm? Okay. So I give you a historical picture that shows on Sunday 2nd September to Wednesday 5th September 1666 in London city, a fire occurred that gutted the medieval city of London inside the old Roman city wall. And in this fire, this tragedy consumed 13,200 houses, 87 churches, most of the city authority buildings, destroyed the homes of 70,000 out of 80,000 of the city's inhabitants. This was such a horrible fire. This is registered in the history that in 1666 in the London, from 2nd September to 5th September, there was a terrible fire tragedy that destroyed 17,000 homes out of 80,000 of the city's inhabitants. Then the whole world became aware of the fire insurance. So then the people realized what is the fire insurance. Now when we talk of the fire insurance, you will see all the basic principles of fire insurance are applicable. All the principles of insurance are applicable to the fire insurance also. And when we talk of the basic principles of insurance, you will recall that the principle of insurable interest, principle of utmost good faith, principle of proximate cause, and principle of indemnity. So these are the four basic principles. Principle of indemnity does have two corollaries known as the subrogation and contribution. So all these basic principles are applicable to the fire insurance. And these are applicable at the time of insurance as well as at the time of claim. So the total application of basic principles is there under the fire insurance category. Now as far as the subject matter of fire insurance is concerned, fire insurance policies can be given to building, plant and machinery, equipment and accessories, furniture and electrical fittings, goods or stock as raw material, semi-finished material, finished goods material, or storage in the warehouses, may be closed or open. Then the pipelines present inside as well as outside. These are all subject matter of fire insurance because these risks can be covered under the fire risk category only. Now, how the fire insurance works? whatever subject matter is insured under the fire insurance policy, if that is lost or damaged due to fire as well as the fire insured perils which are covered under the policy. The property may be a building, machinery, merchandise, furniture or other personal assets. If these are damaged due to fire insurance perils, the fire insurance policy comes into action and indemnifies the losses. Now from 1st of April 2021, fire policy is not new. Fire policy is pretty old. It is since beginning. But from 1st April 2021, IRDAI has introduced 3 new policies. 2 of them relates to the commercial section. These policies are known as Bharat Sukshma Udyam Suraksha and Bharat Laghu Udyam Suraksha. The introduction of these 2 policies doesn't mean the old policy has been discontinued. The old policy, that is known as the Standard Fire and Special Peril Policy, is still continued as it is. There is no change in that policy. But with the introduction of these 2 new policies, the coverage, the sum insured, the inbuilt coverage, the innovative coverage, these changes are taken place in both of these policies. Because now these policies have been made simplified with complete clarity, and certain things have been introduced which were not there earlier in the Standard Fire and Special Peril Policy, that is the method of deciding the sum insured. So these policies are into force now from 1st April 2021, and these are uniformly applicable to all the general insurance companies of India. So when we talk of the fire, the old meaning of the fire insurance in the Standard Fire and Special Peril Policy was that the production of light and heat by combustion or burning, there is said to be a fire within the meaning of the fire insurance if there is actual ignition. Fire is purely accidental or fortuitous, and there must be something on fire which ought not to be fire. So that was the meaning coming in force since beginning. Because the fire is a broad term. This hazard is a self-sustaining process of rapid oxidation of a fuel which products heat and light. So fire is an exothermic chemical reaction between oxygen and fuel at certain temperature. To create a fire, 3 things are required. First, fuel. Second, oxygen at a certain, and third one is temperature. So temperature, extra high temperature can even create the fire. Oxygen is there in the air at concentration about 23% in air, so that also catches the fire. And there must be fuel. Fuel could be anything. Anything means solids, liquids, vapors and gases. If you talk of solids, that means wood, fabric, synthetic material, packing material, papers. All these things are solid items and they can catch the fire. When it comes to the liquids, there could be flammable liquids or inflammable liquids. So everything is susceptible to the fire. Fire also includes flames, sparks, spontaneous ignition and self-combustible chemicals. So now the position or the definition of the fire has been broadened in these 2 policies, because this definition of fire has been changed. Now, whenever a fire policy is given, so for whatever occupancy you are giving a fire policy, there you have to classify certain risks. And these risks are classified into various classes according to factors. What could be the factors? What is the construction of a structure? What is the occupancy? What is the nature of flooring? Height, floor and wall opening, exposures, lighting, heating and power, place or situation of the building, what are the protections, and if there was any loss in the previous history, what was the time of that loss. So these are the things which classify the risk. But the problem is, when you are giving a policy to fire to any customer, the risk is not inspected in all the cases, because this is not practically possible also. That every risk is physically inspected and then only the policy is given. This is done in big risks, where the risk factor is high or the volume of the sum insured is very high. There naturally the inspection is done, then only the policies are given. So with these changes, now the policy has been simplified. Words are simplified. Now it provides the complete coverage, because whatever add-ons were there in the standard fire and special fire policy, they are merged into the inbuilt cover of these two policies. With certain conditions, they have been included in the basic coverage of the policy. So now those add-ons have become the inbuilt coverage of these policies. Next, the mis-selling has been controlled because certain changes were made in that policy. And because of that changes, now no peril of the policy can be excluded from the date of issuance to the date of expiry. ऑडिबल नहीं है? मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही है? मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही है? हेलो हेलो, मैं दोबारा ज्वाइन करता हूँ. सुन नहीं पा रहे क्या आप मुझे?